Hi everybody. I am going to show you something else with my project that I'm working on here. This is just to give you some information on how to work with these stamps. And when I say they come with a mask, which these peony stamps do, um, the mask, I'm going to demonstrate it right now. So the gray is the mask, and they are covering a stamp that I've already stamped. The mask is the exact shape of the stamp, and each stamp has its own mask. So if I wanted to mask over this flower, for instance, I would choose the mask that fits on top of there. So once you've placed your mask on top and you know where you want your next stamp to be, if I were to want to stamp here, I would know that this leaf is not going to be on top of this flower. It's going to be behind the flower, as will this leaf and this part of the leaf. The only thing that will be in front will be this side of this leaf, the portion showing out from underneath any of the other stamps, because I've covered with the mask. So I am going to, because I don't have a way to prop up my phone right now, I'm going to ink up my stamp, and then I'm going to place it right there. I'm going to put this back down. I think that ink is a little bit wet under there. And if you do get a little bit of a spill of ink on top because your stamp was dirty, quickly wipe it away and it will disappear. Okay, so I'm going to stamp there, so I have to load my stamp with ink, and you take your ink pad, whichever kind of ink you're using. Don't have to just use Iron Orchid's ink if you've got other inks available, although Iron Orchids has all kinds of inks available. Okay, so I'm going to take this stamp and I'm going to put it where I want it, over the top, and I need to switch hands here. So I am doing this. Okay, I'm going to put this where I want it. Once you place it, you leave it, and then you're going to just push that stamp down. Like I said, with two hands it's a little harder. It's going to be a little bit blurred because of how I'm doing it. I want all of the parts of my stamp to be adhered. I have got to find my selfie stick is under a bunch of stuff I'm working on out in the garage. I may have to wipe this off and redo it, but that's no problem. I just want to give you the idea. All right, so you've got your stamp down there, and you can then remove your masks. And you see, except for my little mess that I'm going to wipe up immediately, get it out of there, that your stamp is underneath these. These leaves are underneath the flower. These leaves are underneath this leaf. And I'm going to even remove this right here. And I have a way to touch up my ink where I've messed up without reapplying my stamp. I use a very thin paintbrush, and I will add my stem up in there and then correct this leaf. But I'll wait until everything's dry and then I'll do it again because I don't want to smear any more than what I've already smeared. So you can, correct some mistakes and it's not hard to do. One mistake I see I want to correct right now is, and I'm going to wrap my other end of my paintbrush in a wet paper towel just to get a point, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And I want to get that little smudge out of there. See how you can clean these areas up. Well, they're still wet, and it's really helpful to do it while it's wet, because you don't want to paint over this with paint on your board, unless you're going to repaint the whole board, because you're going to see those places where you repainted. There's going to be some uneven brush strokes in there. So kind of like to avoid that on something like this. So anyway, here it is again, where this stamp, I put a I get in my right brain creative, and I can't think logically in my left brain. Talk and create at the same time. So if I wanted to put another leaf here, I could put it, just here. Stamp another leaf in there, like right there, and it would be, that leaf would be behind the flower, kind of like this one is. This leaf would all be behind the flower, except this portion of the leaf would show. So that's kind of how you work with those masks that they have. So anyway, you can play around, add anywhere you want. You can, like, I might want to add another leaf here. And if I did that, then I would put the big mask on this flower, because I don't want to stamp over the top of the flower. I want my stamp to look like it went under the flower. So I'd put a mask on this leaf, and I'd put a mask on this flower, and then I'd stamp. And then the only parts of the stamp that will show is what's under the flower. And, hidden under, only the parts that would be revealed, nothing that's under the flower. So it kind of gives you some dimension, and depth in your work. So this is so far what I've got going. This is the basic design here. Oop, I see I got, I got to get some water on here. And I'm going to clean up this. I'm going to wet that with a paintbrush real quick. And then I'm just going to wipe it off. So I kind of inspect to see, have I smeared anything around the board? Did I need to wipe away? That kind of thing. So this is the top of my wine rack that I'm working on, and there'll be more. I'm going to add some more, but I just wanted to show you the basic use of those masks, because when you buy the product, you're going to need some instruction on how to use those masks. Otherwise, they're going to be less important when they're super important. They really help give you a better product in the end, what you're creating. You can get some depth in there. And okay. All right. So I'm going to keep working on this.